Hello guys, it's Bongi here. So today we're gonna talk about the laptop power distribution. I wanna show you how the laptop distribute power. Okay, let me start. Laptop power distribution. Okay, this is coming from the charger. Okay, this is coming from the charger. Laptop power distribution is coming from the charger, of which it's 19 volts. I want to show you how this 19 volts is distributed all over the motherboard. Okay, let's go ahead. Okay, this is your 19 volts on your laptop motherboard. Okay, it's all over the board. All right, so it's coming from the charger. This is the charger port. All right, so we have, let me show you how this power is distributed all over the motherboard. Okay, so you will have the first power, of which is 3.3 volts. 3.3 volts, as well as the 5 volts, always 5 volts always. Five volts always. It means this power is always on. As soon as you plug in your charger, of which is 19 volts, there is a chip on the laptop that is responsible for taking the 19 volts from the charger and turn it into 3.3 volts and 5 volts always. Okay, let's go ahead. After this, you will have another power. Okay, after the 3.3 you will have another power, of which it's a 3.3, still the same voltage, but this one comes after you have pressed the power button. Okay, it's not always on, but it comes after you have pressed the power button. It's called 3.3 VS or 5 volts VS. Okay, it means it's come after you have switched on the laptop. Okay, you won't have this volt unless you press the power button. Okay, let's go ahead. Let's talk more. Let's talk about the now. Let's draw another power. This one is very important. You will have 1 volt. You will have 1.05 volts. You will have 1.8 volts or 1.5 volts or 1.3 volts. You will have all those kind of different voltages. Okay, these ones they are for the CPU, for the PCH, for graphics card, for north bridge, south bridge. Okay, all these kind of voltages, they will come after you have the above voltages. Okay, you can't expect your CPU to turn on yet you are missing the 3.3 volts. Okay, that's what happened. All this power, it's distributed almost like this I can't go deep into detail. I can, but I want to make this video simple as possible so that you will learn, guys, and understand how the laptop motherboard are fixed. Okay, first thing that you need to do, you need to understand how the power is distributed on the laptop motherboard. You need to understand how the 19 volts is turned into 3 volts, into 5 volts, into 1 volt, 1.3 volts for the RAM, 1.8 volts for specific RAM. You need to understand those kind of things. Okay, this is very, very, very important. You will have the 19 volts all over the board. This 19 volts, it supplies different chips. So chips, they are more responsible for taking the higher voltage, maybe taking taking the 19 volts and convert it into 3.3 volts or into 5 volts or into 1 volt, into any voltages. Okay, you will have different chips doing this kind of a job. That's why you will have the 19 volts all over the board, but the 19 volts is needed to supply the board. It's the main volt. 19 volts is the main voltage. Okay, if you are missing the 19 volts, your PC or your laptop, it won't turn on. 19 volts is the first power rail that you should have when you are repairing a dead laptop. Make sure you have the 19 volts. Check the charger itself. Once you have confirmed, move on. Check check the port itself. Start from the charging port, meaning you start here. You check here with your multimeter. Check from the charging port. Check here on the start. From the start. See how many volts you have. Okay, let me show you how the 19 volts is contributed. How it starts where, and okay, let me just say it on save. Okay, so we are talking about the 19 volts. Now let's focus on the 19 volts. This is the 19 volts. It's coming from the charger. So here you will have the charging ports. Okay, and then we'll have the wire. Okay, this is a positive. Here on the positive you will have the first MOSFET. I'm gonna show you everything. When I have the first MOSFET, okay, MOSFETs, they have 4 pins. Okay, the input and the output. This is the input. All these 4 pins are connected together. Okay, let me draw the MOSFET, okay, with a different color so that you will understand and see clearly. Okay, this is the MOSFET with 4 legs from each side, meaning 8 pins or legs in total. Okay, so you have the 8 pins total. So here, on the MOSFET, there will be a dot. It means this pin number 1. So these 3 pins are connected together. I'll put this color back. These 3 pins are connected together, but the 4th one is separated. And again, after this, you will have the MOSFET, another MOSFET. Usually they use 2 MOSFETs. Okay, have another MOSFET here. Same MOSFET. Have a dot here, which means it's pin number 1, 2, 3, and 4. The 4th pin is gate. Okay, all these 3 are connected, all these 4 are connected. So this is how MOSFETs are. Okay, these are 19 volts. Let me draw again. 19 volts coming from the charger. Don't be confused. This is the charging port with a pin. You know, the charging port, they always have a pin. Okay, so let me show you on the online. Okay, I can't show you. Okay, it's simple. Let's open Safari. Okay, let's say ASA charging port. Sorry about that, I'm not connected online. Let me go online and be connected. Okay, I'm now connected. Let's go to images. As you can see, this is the charging port. Okay. Okay, let me open one picture to show you everything. Okay, so as you can see on the pin, we have the positive, of which are red 2 wires, and we have the ground. Okay, so on the charging port, these silver things are surrounding the whole thing. It's ground. Okay, inside this charging port, this hole, we have the positive there. The middle pin is positive. It's the 19 volts coming from these red wires. Okay, that's why I even draw dots here on the center. Okay, so where's our ground here? Let me draw our ground. This is our ground. Our ground would be flowing here, positive, and we have the ground. Okay, this is ground. Let me draw here a sign for ground. This is our ground. This is our ground. So along the way here, you will have capacitors. You will have ceramic capacitors. Okay, you will have ceramic capacitors to smooth or to rectify the power, the 19 volts. Remember, here we have a DC. This is 19 volts DC. It's a direct current. So we'll try by all means to remove the unnecessary frequencies, the unnecessary noise, all those things. We'll try to remove the AC. Okay, we're trying to remove the AC by using the ceramic capacitors, even the diode as well. Okay, so it can be anything. So after the MOSFETs, you will have a 19 volts going all over. Okay, before that, you will have now I remember, you will have a current sensor, a resistor. It's always 0 ohms. 0 ohms. It's always 0 0. You will have a 0 ohms resistor. It's connected to a charging chip. It can sense the current from this side and the current from this other side, and then after that it goes all over the board. This is the current sensing resistor. They use a 0 ohm resistor to sense how much power the computer is using. Okay, and then this, they will be connected going to a chip. There will be a charging chip. Okay, near this whole thing there would be a charging chip, I hope you guys you understand. There will be a charging chip. This is my chip. There will be a charging chip. Okay, and then this is how the power is distributed. When here there will be capacitor, there will be bunch of capacitor, not 3, maybe even 4 or 5, any amount of capacitors, but there will be capacitors, ceramic capacitors, not just any capacitors, but there will be ceramic capacitors all over here. There will be like a bunch of them. Okay, I'm sure you're confused. Now let me show you the ceramic capacitors. I want to show you the image. Okay, these are ceramic capacitors. These are ceramic capacitors. Even this one is ceramic capacitors. But remember, here we're talking about the laptops. We can't install this one. They're too big. This one are for radio or TV or big stuff, big circuit stuff. And this is the sign as I was showing you there. So on the laptop, we use the SMD capacitors or SMT capacitors. Okay, let me say SMT ceramic capacitors. Okay, this is exactly what we use. These are the ceramic capacitors. See how they look? They are brown. You will see them a lot on the motherboard. Here, for instance, see the spot. Here there are a bunch of them. Okay, they're always like this. They're brown. Here, another motherboard. So yeah, one side of them is connected to ground and the other side is connected to positive. As I was showing you, this is a capacitor. One side is positive, then to draw positive here. Okay, one side is positive, one side is ground. Okay, so they don't allow power to pass. They only allow AC to go straight to ground and allow DC to pass. Okay, I mean DC to move on without shorting the DC to ground. Okay, they only short the AC to ground, but they don't short the DC to ground. They short the AC to ground, but they don't short the DC to ground. Hope I didn't confuse you there. So this is how they are. One side of them is connected to ground, the other side is connected to positive. This is how this is them, as you can see. And they burn like this. They do burn physically. Sometimes you won't see them easily, but these are all the ceramic capacitors. Okay, now let's move on. Okay, now let me show you the whole thing. Let me say laptop motherboard HD images. I want to show you a nice clear image starting from the charging port. If it's possible, let's see, only if it's possible. Let's see if I can show you. Okay, let's see here. Let's hope I can show you a nice clean image. Okay, hope you can see. These are ceramic capacitors. Okay, these are ceramic capacitors. You can see. Okay, here I don't have a picture. I mean, I don't have a picture for a laptop. Let me just come here. Check this one. Okay. Oh yeah, here. This is a charging port. Okay. So now here, I can't show you things that I wish I can show you. I wish I can show you the whole thing. I can't even download this image. But let's try to zoom in again. Okay, I can't zoom in now. Guys, I was gonna show you the whole procedure, but here you can see the ceramic capacitors. These brown things are ceramic capacitors. It's the one I was telling you about. They're all over the board. Okay, but anyway, I can't see. Okay, let's say a laptop, motherboard, power, MOSFET. Let's see. Press enter. Yeah. Anyway, these are MOSFETs, okay? A MOSFET is something like this. I was drawing the thing, remember when I was showing you the whole thing, saying this is a MOSFET. These are things that I was drawing. I was trying to draw this whole thing. Okay, it's two of them. You will have this thing starting from the charging ports. You should be aware. Okay, here is the whole thing. The two MOSFETs, and then after that you have the resistor, but this is not a current sense. I don't think this is a correct thing, but these are MOSFETs. Hope you can see and understand the MOSFETs. This dot, it means it's pin number 1. So this pin number 1, 2, 3, they are all connected together. It's one thing. But pin number 4, it's gate. Gate is like a switch. Okay. Let me open a new thing. Take note of this, guys, because I'm gonna close now. Okay, I want to show you the MOSFETs. Let's say we have the 19 volts flowing here, right? And then you will have the MOSFETs here. Okay, but this is the MOSFETs. The MOSFETs are switches. They're more like switches. They are switches. Actually, they're doing the same thing. The switches are doing. They switch on and off. Okay, and the question is, how do they switch on and off? Who's telling them to switch on and off, and how he's telling them to switch on and off? Okay, now let's throw the other side. Okay, here we have a dot, of which stands for pin number 1, right? Okay, and then here's our pin number 1. This dot, okay, stand for pin number 1. In any chip, if you see a dot, it means the pin that is there, it's pin number 1. So MOSFETs are like this. These 3 pins are connected together. Here, these 4 pins are connected together. Okay, in order for this thing to allow this 19 volts to pass on this side and go all over the board, this guy here, the gate, the guy here, this is the gate, the 4th pin is the gate. Okay, it acts like a switch. Even itself acts like a switch. It's telling this guy to close. Okay, let me just draw as a switch. Okay, here I'm making an example. It's more like this. if you want to understand it. Inside the tiny thing, inside that black tiny thing, okay, it's more like this. It's not like this, but I'm just making an example. So say here you can see that the 19 volts, it's here, okay. It can't pass on the other side. The other side is 0 volts. So how this tiny thing is gonna allow the 19 volts? Okay, man, this is my 19 volts. How the tiny thing is gonna allow the 19 volts to pass all over the board here through gates? Okay, so here the chip will send a voltage here, okay, saying, hey, you allow the power to pass, and then this guy here, they would close. Then once they close, they will allow the 19 volts to pass on both sides. And now we have 19 volts all over. Even on this side we have 19 volts circulating, going all over the motherboard. Okay, so these are the power MOSFETs. They do usually die, okay, take note of that. They burn, they can burn, sometimes you won't see them. And again, the gate, yeah, let me just not confuse you, but this is more, this is like this is one thing, okay, it's exactly like this. Okay, it's exactly like this. I want to take the picture. Let me take the picture of the whole thing. Okay, let me go to file, open. Maybe you will understand it more better when it's here. Open, don't save. Okay, okay, so these four pins, guys, they're all connected together. Okay, it's just one thing. They're all connected together. It's just one thing. I don't know why they separate them like this, but it's just one thing. It's just one thing. It's just one thing. They're all connected together. Then here, these three ones here, they're all connected together. These three, they're all connected together. And then here, this is the gates. This is the gate telling this power to allow the power to pass on this side or not. Okay, hope you understand the whole thing. I hope you understand the whole thing. Anyway, I'm gonna pause the video now. I'm gonna pause the thing, but before I close, guys, press the subscribe button. Don't forget to comment and ask questions. If you want help, I will respond to you anytime. As long as I have time, I will respond to your messages. I will respond to comments, but don't forget to press the subscribe button. Press the subscribe button. I promise I will keep on uploading more stuff for you guys to understand, and watch my next videos where I explain some other things. Okay, so here on this whole video I was explaining the 19 volts. Press the subscribe button. Thank you so much, guys. See you next time.